sends me to the peak. Without no regret, you got no love. Without no love, you got no regret. Without no regret, you got no love. A melody where I belong in this life.
Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. We're here for the United show. I'm joined by Cian, Ciaran and Kenny. How are we all doing, guys?
Great, thank you.
Wonderful.
Decent, but I've just found out Maguire's been robbing all the wheelie bins in my neighbourhood. So
We'll get into Maguire. Don't you worry about that, because there's apparently power struggles, denials. I believe they're doing a sumo wrestling contest to decide who your captain is for the rest of the season, and I believe Maguire's just won. He's just squashed Ronaldo. But Ciaran, you're back on the channel after a little while. How have you been?
Yeah, I've been all right, mate. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm good to be back. Good to be back on the channel. Always good to come on, give my views. Wish the team was performing on the pitch, but obviously you can't have it both ways. But yeah, no, good to be back on the channel. Yeah, been good.
I was just about to say, Argyle have got almost everything the United don't have, which is a captain that almost everyone respects, an owner that lives in America but still puts money into Argyle. We've got a lad who's about to enter 1 year of his contract at the end of the season, so we've already offered him a new contract. And basically, for the United don't do, we're seeming to do. So maybe we'll see him in the Championship one day, but... Velv says, welcome to the live chat. Remember, guard your privacy and abide by community guidelines. Thank you, Velv. Thank you. Come find me after your wedding. Mustafa, please make sure you watch the intro a lot. It's got all of your favourite players. McTominay, the lot of them. Big up now Fabrizio's master, intelligent Ciaran, and I guess Kenny. Brilliant. And big up the pen, Kenny.
Made me chuckle.
Absolutely brilliant. But we have got an awful lot to talk about because never a day goes without leaks, without God knows what, and almost everything. I haven't even had, and this is how bad it is for United. And I did hear Cian sort of talk about on his channel. I haven't looked at a single bit of news that I actually need to, because it's all over social media, and I've literally got it all in my head straight away. But we must start on a positive. Actually, before we start on the positive, we'll start on the negative. You drew 1-1 with Southampton. Cian, it was sort of like the exact same game against Burnley. It was like, I was almost thinking, if you put this at Turf Moor and against Burnley, I'm pretty sure I've seen this before. It was a bit like deja vu. What is it with your team and their inability to start a second half? Because under Ollie, you couldn't start a first half to save your lives, and now you can't start a second half. Like, what on earth's going on?
I've been discussing this a lot with a lot of different people, and I've sort of formed my own opinion on it. And obviously, there's a lot more to it than what I'm about to say.
Well, yeah.
But as you say, Ollie was second half FC with us, and you could sort of say he was one of the luckiest managers in the world, which hurts me to say because I still love Ollie and I still talk about him a lot. However, Rangnick is now one of the unluckiest managers in the world. The players just aren't putting the chances away. I thought against Southampton, maybe I was blinded by having COVID and being too positive about everything. Maybe it was just a good performance in general. I thought it was a good performance for 75 minutes, barring them first 15 minutes of the second half when we just didn't come out and we looked most vulnerable, as Shay Adams said.
Yeah, no, and they even admitted it. It's not the first manager to sort of go in and go, wow, we just knew how to beat United. I mean, the Wolves manager did it, and at both at Old Trafford, and that must be the bit that annoys everyone the most. Mustafa says, shush now. It's only because you love Maguire, McTominay and Rashford doesn't mean you need to tell me a shush. Welcome, panel and Kenny. Apologies for my absence. Kenny last week.
No.
He recovered.
Yeah, I was too much for him. I battered him.
Hello, Jaguar the Robot. Big up, Chris. Big up, Max. Big up, Max. And big up, Joshy. But Ciaran, Southampton. I remember when Ollie was in charge and Cavani came on to score 3 goals. Was it 2 goals? I can't. Was it 3 goals? He bagged a hat trick, didn't he? Or was it 2 and you got 2-2 draw? Last season.
Away from home, he came on and scored 2, and I think we won 3-2. I think he scored like 9.
Yeah, that might have been it. Yeah, that would have been the one. I remember that, but then this one was nowhere near. I mean, you've got apparently one of the best attacks in the world. If we take it on face value, and if I said to you at the middle part of last season, you're going to have an attack of Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Cristiano Ronaldo, you're probably going to be there with a fat ass erection going, we've won the league. You had that front three, and no, not quite.
Yeah, deja vu, to be honest. I think, as you mentioned, I think with the signings we did in the summer, it was pretty well the perfect transfer window. I don't think really Man United fans could have asked for anything better than that. I think, I even think, to be honest with you, surpassed expectations. I don't think anyone really thought we were going to get Varane. I think people knew we were going to get Sancho, and then obviously Ronaldo just came out of the blue. So from what we actually brought in, I think it was almost, better than everyone expected it to be. So the fact we are where we are now is a bit of a mystery, and I think, I do agree with the idea that Rangnick actually has coached us pretty well. I actually think he's actually implemented his tactics pretty well. It's just, for me, I think there's a laying him down, and I'm not saying he's been faultless, because I think there's been some times where he could have made earlier substitutions, something which Ollie also did or didn't do. But I feel like there's been a few games, the Burnley game, for example, Southampton game, where we've been brilliant for a half of football, or 60, 70 minutes of a game, but we just haven't been able to put the ball in the back of the net. And unfortunately, when you're playing teams like Southampton, they've got some quality players as well. I mean, Che Adams, yes, he's obviously, you wouldn't say he's one of the best strikers in the Premier League, but he is a goal scorer. There's no doubt about it. And
plays for Scotland, so guaranteed not to be one of the best.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to say that, but you've obviously said that. But I think with Che Adams, in the end of the day, he's someone who can finish. And if you actually look at the stats, Southampton only actually had 4 shots on target in the whole game, and obviously the scoreline's all that matters, and that's what we've been suffering with. We weren't able to put. I mean, even the game we just played, we won the game 2-0, but we only really got that second goal in the 90. So in the end of the day, that's our biggest downfall, is not finishing chances. But I think game management as well has been poor. But it's one of the things for me where I do look at Rangnick, and I think he has been let down by the players, and obviously all the kind of stuff we're going to talk about with the politics in the group won't be helping either, to be honest. So it's a difficult situation for Rangnick to sort out.
He's had the hardest job ever created, I think. I'd argue that this job is harder than if Torquay United got promoted to the Premier League and you've got to try and keep them up. I genuinely think the United job is actually harder at the moment. Mustafa just saying that he loves McTominay, Rashford, and Maguire.
Hashtag 25.
I'm 110% sure which MLS team I'm going to support. Love it. Last season, Cavani assisted 2 Bruno and scored 2. Yeah. Hat trick, basically. Not a problem. No idea. I don't even know what a right back is. Brilliant. Mings and Maguire. Yeah, that's that's enough to hurt anyone. Big up the sexy, handsome panel and Penny. Adams has scored more goals than Lukaku. That's an interesting stat. Big up Ravi. Thank you, Bionak. Why did we pay 80 million for him, for fuck's sake? That's a mystery, I think. United are looking like an episode of EastEnders with this much drama. I was thinking more celebrity Big Brother, to be honest. Mustafa Maguire is world class, respect him. Good evening, Dylan. But yeah, it really is one of them. Kenny, have you got anything to add on the Southampton game, or do you still want to look for the wheelie bin?
Not really. And Rotherham have just got an absolute belter, by the way.
Pretends to be shocked. But that wasn't the only game. You had to play on Tuesday night. Don't worry, it wasn't Champions League, and you probably won't see that next year anyway. But it was against Brighton. Cian, would you say you were somewhat lucky to get a win against Brighton? Because I think I didn't watch the game, to be completely honest with you, because PSG versus Real Madrid was on, and I watch United a lot, and I was thinking just purely for my mental health, I want to watch some good football. Turns out it was a pile of crap, but I wanted to try and improve the football I watch, but clearly I picked the wrong game.
I thought we played well considering the opposition. I think Brighton, as Kenny said, our dark horses. Kenny has said it in my chat. The dark horses were top 4.
United.
You did.
I said,
One minute. United fans now class Brighton as a tough game.
We've got to allow it.
I said if they beaten us, then they would be 5 points off top 4.
And I believe that. Like, it was a tough game. They are a good side, Brighton, considering our level this season. Like, we've got to. I know some people are going to say standards and things like that, but we have got to be realistic in where we are this season, considering the opposition. And I think we should be going for Graham Potter as permanent manager anyway. So, considering the opposition, I thought we played very well.
What? How? What now?
Love it. Big up Ciaran, the best United fan in the world, Fabrizio's father.
I love being called Fabrizio's father.
He's loving it. Martial scored. He did yesterday.
Yeah.
Kenny is talking. Time to mute and enjoy listening to his opinions. Kenny is getting absolutely rinsed in the chat. It's brilliant. But Ciaran, did you watch the United game, or did you want to take a night off and, I don't know, read a book?
No, for my sins, I'll stick it out, watch the game. I think I agree with what Cian said. I actually think, Brighton are a very well-drilled team. I think the result, actually, we could have seen yet another 1-1 if Dunk hadn't been sent off. I think it was one of those games where, once again, I thought in the first half we played pretty well. The second half, we just started petering out, and Brighton looked like they were coming back into it. And I think, that sending off and the goal from Ronaldo kind of, changed the momentum of the whole game. But I think even if Ronaldo gets that goal, if Dunk stays on the pitch and it's an 11 versus 11, I think it's a very, very tough game. And obviously Danny Welbeck came on, and I really thought that was going to be the nail in the coffin for Danny Welbeck. I think he's always scored like 3 goals against us anyway. He loves scoring against us, so I was thinking that's just sod's law. A goal. But fortunately that didn't happen, and obviously we kind of defended well. I mean, we got a clean sheet, we've been saying quite a while. And it's one of those things where, again, obviously you put it into perspective, you have to say it is Brighton, and yes, they're a well-drilled side, but we are expected to beat them on paper. But I mean, I guess you just have to take the positives at this point, and obviously we moved back into the top 4. And I looked, Spurs and Arsenal, I think, have both. So we're definitely not in a strong in top 4, but it's nice, obviously, to have the points on board. But yeah, it was, it was an all right game. Again, we had chances. I think Bruno Fernandes had one in the 6 yard, just outside the 6 yard box. Ronaldo squared it to him, and he missed that. So he's missed a few gilt edges on the end, to be fair. So got to give him credit for that. But I guess it's 3 points. That's all you can really say about that. Just have to actually build a chance in future games.
Yeah, your audio keeps cutting in and out a little bit, so I got most of what you said. I'm not sure. Not sure if that's something. We'll try and get that fixed. But Dylan says, "I am Kenny's father. Stop abusing him. He is only 11 and started watching football 4 weeks ago. Please respect his awful opinions and ball knowledge."
This guy reps Martial and thinks he can speak. you lot got gassed over a goal versus Dynamo Zagreb.
oh yeah, everyone's invited to Mustafa's wedding and cop. But the wedding has been scheduled to next week due to weather. Brilliant.
Mustafa just accepted it.
This chat, I swear, is one of the weirdest but brilliant chats in probably YouTube. But as I say, we've got an awful lot to talk about. Kenny, did you have anything to add on the Brighton game?
Even at 10 men, Brighton looked like a good score. We weren't that great. De Gea saved us with, I think one of his saves was a brilliant save. We were incredibly lucky. It was a complete opposite to the performances we've had. I managed to win it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I did hear that Brighton was still dominating you with 10 men, which is sort of symbolises where United are at the moment. But that was enough for talking football. I just want to announce that we are doing a watch on for every United game in March. I'm really excited for March. I cannot wait. Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, and Atletico Madrid.
Well,
I'm not scared about two of those sides.
It's like heaven has decided to grace me with the
well,
best
that's
March in the
Atletico
world.
and Spurs.
This guy got it right.
Have a bit of respect for Antonio Conte. You can't even beat Burnley.
Yeah, but Atletico.
It hurts when you say it.
I'll give you Atletico if you really want me to, but the rest of them, have some respect for the English Premier League. That's all I'm gonna say.
The game will be out of sight on the second leg anyway for Atletico.
I mean,
They've not
we
got
got
most of the first team.
Southampton. Spurs lost to Southampton.
I'm clipping all of this up. Don't worry about this.
You're gonna be sending me after the game.
We're gonna get a 0-0 versus Man City. We're gonna get a 0-0 versus Man City.
I think we'll beat City 1 or 2-0.
I can actually see that.
Mate,
They always beat City.
Mate, they will beat with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he played Dan James on the right hand side, and Man City just didn't know what to do when you've got.
Recruit Dan James again.
Well,
Perry, Atletico, West Ham. No, I never said that. But Atletico, by the way,
Kenny,
Atletico just this weekend.
He was making a good point as well.
Well, I was gonna say something, but he just rudely interrupted me. So I was just doing that. I was gonna say Man City. They're just gonna toy with you like your meat. It's gonna happen what happened at Old Trafford, which is they're gonna score 2 goals and then just pass it around for the next 80 minutes, going, we'll just keep the ball. It's sound, lads. Like Jurgen
We're not better than them, but we will beat them, I think.
Oh, Diaz, Salah. Oh my God, there is danger at Anfield. You're gonna. If I was you,
Luis Diaz isn't that good.
We'll lose to Liverpool, but I think City will get a 0-0.
I honestly don't think we will. I think we'll beat Liverpool 3-1.
Anfield.
3-1. I'm gonna say it. I'm being bold. I'm gonna say it.
I think Atletico Madrid.
That is bold. I respect that.
Atletico Madrid on the one side. On the one side, which I think I'm not scared about all. They're awful, Atletico.
Yeah, they're not all that, and they're made out to be so
They
good.
got 0 shots on target versus their side, who had 0 wins after 20 games in La Liga.
Can I also
and they've not got most of the team now for the first leg as well.
Right, honestly.
Neither of you, by the looks of it. I mean, have you even got a team to field in the Champions League?
We're better at.
Your one DM injury to absolute meltdown. Your one McTominay injury down to if McTominay gets injured.
Yeah, but we'll still be Atletico Madrid.
When does McTominay ever get injured though?
Well, quite regularly actually. He actually.
No, he's had 2 injuries.
He actually spent the first part of the season injured because he had
2
to
injuries
have groin surgery. So but freak accidents happen. If McTominay gets injured, you're screwed.
We'll beat Atletico regardless. They're not all that at all.
They're awful.
You're literally you're one McTominay injury away from Phil Jones playing DM. That's all I'm saying.
Not wrong with that.
Dominate them in midfield.
Oh God, it's one of them. Stop acting like you backed De Gea, Penny. You wanted Henderson to replace him.
I've got opinions on Henderson. I think he should be given another chance. I'm just gonna say that.
I've said for me. And this is going to go down like a lead balloon with a lot of United fans. I'm glad RJ isn't here to see this. But all I will say is that I have said there are 2 goalkeepers who fit completely different systems. De Gea would fit a De Gea or an Antonio Conte system like a glove. He would absolutely be perfect. A low defense, lots of them around, probably a 5 at the back, plenty of protection, not having to sweep up left, right, and centre because your defence ain't playing on the halfway line. Henderson is very good sweeping up behind the defence. He likes to come out, he asserts himself, he dominates his box, he makes sure he goes for what he can and he'll get it. All I'm saying is if Rangnick or your new manager wants to play over high line, all I'm going to say is I know De Gea has been very good this season.
Yeah,
he's also, should we also not ignore that he had 2 really, really shit seasons under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Like, people say, yeah, but De Gea's done this. It's like, well, can we go back to the 2 years that he
shot prevention is better than shot stopping.
Yeah,
and distribution is better than both of them put together.
It's like that City goal you scored last year at the Etihad, where was it Henderson threw it to Shaw, who
and Shaw driven rightly.
Yeah. Was it Rashford that scored that?
No, I think it was Shaw. Yeah, it was Shaw. Yeah.
Oh my!
Great finish.
Oh yeah.
Lockdown Man United on some different kind of smoke there.
Yes,
but, but that's the thing. You've got 2 different goalkeepers for 2 different things. But we'll get into that, as I do want to talk about.
Okay, Bell, which one?
Kenny, you interrupt me one more time, and you're going to face the back room again. Shush, Penny, you're the doorman. Do a back flip right now on stream. I may consider it. No. He'll break his neck now. Atletico worse than Middlesbrough, according to Kenny.
I never said that.
You did. You said that last week.
If Atletico were in the Premier League, they'd finish about 15th. I'm just going to say
I want to see it on.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, okay. Right. Whoa. Fabrizio's master. Can I remind you Diaz versus Maguire? Thank you. Oh, yeah, that should be interesting. Well, actually, no. It'll be Diaz versus Dallo and Varane, so you should be all right. It's Salah. It will be Salah that's got Shaw and McTominay, and that
just get
Shaw and Maguire, which is
Salah
going
has been on the best form of late.
Can we just get Ashley Young back, please?
Cian,
you have to mark Mohamed Salah.
He scored a hat trick at Old Trafford, mate.
I know. I mean,
need
of late,
Ashley Young. You have to mark Mohamed Salah.
Ashley Young was the perfect captain as well, I think.
He's been at AFCON. Since Penny's jinxing us, I expect us to lose to Atletico. That is true. That is true.
Glad I'm not catching strays here.
Right, sure.
Okay, I'm not marrying Sancho. No way.
We've got an awful. It's okay, Kenny. I don't think Sancho would accept you, but we've got plenty to talk about. Because there's also talk about Brandon Williams that I want to get into, because I thought that was quite interesting what Rangnick said about Brandon Williams. He's developed very nicely at Norwich. If you've actually had the pleasure of watching Norwich, which I have done a fair bit, I've actually enjoyed watching it. But we'll get into that after this. But Cian, I spoke about the goalkeepers, and I said you've got 2 different goalkeepers for 2 different systems. Now, I would assume that if you get a Ten Hag or a Poch or even a Potter, they're all probably going to want to sit your defence on the halfway line, if not just a little bit deeper. They're not going to want to sit too deep. As you know, they're going to want to control the ball, all of this sort of stuff. What do you do?
I do like Shaw. I like both Shaw and Tellez, actually.
No, I meant goalkeeper.
Not right. I thought you meant Brandon Williams.
No, I was sort of sneaking that in. So
right. Apologies.
Not a problem.
But I do like both goalkeepers. I absolutely love David De Gea. World class still, in my opinion. But again, like you say, it's 2 different goalkeepers, 2 different systems, and they both bring different negatives and different positives to the team. And in my opinion, Henderson's positives far outweigh De Gea's positives in this current modern day football era, in the football that's being played and the football that we will want to play going forward with whichever manager we get, any of them 3 or 4 that you will have named. I would say give Henderson another chance. Let's not say he's the number 1 yet, but if he didn't get COVID at the start of the season, he would already be the number 1. But De Gea just took advantage of that.
Do you think that a lot of these decisions need to be decided by your new manager? Because everyone's talking about, Maguire needs stripping her captaincy or all of this.
You can't do it mid-season. It can't be done mid-season.
But shouldn't that all be done for the new manager? Rangnick shouldn't really want to upset the apple cart too much. Because
we don't even know who our new manager is going to be.
Exactly. And Rangnick's not going to be your new manager. So he's just really got to try and basically he's got to sort of counsel everyone in there and go, look,
Yeah.
I'm only here until the summer. You lot need to sort your crap out, because the minute I go upstairs, I'm going to be throwing shapes, and you're not going to want to see what shapes I'm throwing. Like that's all you need to say, and that should, if they care enough about their job, that should be enough. Going, oh yeah, I do need to remember, I am talking to my new director of football, sporting director, or God knows whatever role he's going to have, and he is going to throw some shapes when he's upstairs. Because imagine you get a Ten Hag and Eric goes, oh Ralph, what's that lad like? And Ralph goes, irritating little shit, wouldn't do anything I said, and would just leak everything to the media. Oh, thank you. Can we sell him? Like, you know, they've got to be very careful on how they even do this. But Ciaran, goalkeeper situation. De Gea's been in great form. He's won multiple, player of the month for United and for the Premier League. But you have got Dean Henderson. Now, is this something you want to see maybe pre-season next year? They both get a fair crack at the whip, and whoever's done better in that shape is your number one for the season? Or how do you want it to go? Because look, if RJ was here, he'd be screaming at me going, De Gea's done this, he's done that, he's done this, he's done that. Look at him, he's made these many saves. But luckily for me, RJ isn't here. But what would you do anyway?
For me, I think it's a difficult one, just because, obviously, it's difficult to obviously block out the kind of nostalgia with De Gea. I think it's difficult because, he has done so much for the club. But at the same time, I think with Henderson, the one argument I'd make is that he is obviously the future. Like, that there was the reason why we put him on a weak contract. Like, there's obviously a plan for him to come in as a future. So for me, there's no point in just keeping him on the bench and not playing him at all. So I would like to see Dean Henderson get more games, especially if David. I mean, I don't know what David De Gea's plans are. I mean, I feel like for him, if we aren't looking like we're going to win any trophies, I think he would want to go. And he's talked about wanting to go back to Spain, and I just feel like maybe naturally, De Gea will part ways and Henderson will fill that gap. Maybe that just will naturally happen. But I think right now, in terms of who I think is like the better goalkeeper, I would probably still say David De Gea is the better goalkeeper at this moment. But I do think that Dean Henderson is the future. He's got obviously much better distribution. I think he's much braver. He obviously comes out and is a bit more commanding of his area, which we've kind of is hindered us a little bit with David De Gea this season. Sometimes where he hasn't come out for things that ultimately have given strikers a free goal very close to the goal. I would like the Burnley one actually with Jay Rodriguez. Like, there's no way he should be getting anywhere near like David De Gea's 6-yard box. So it's one of those things where there are obviously positives and negatives with both. I would say, as I said, David De Gea is probably still the better goalkeeper out of the two. In my opinion, I would keep De Gea to the end of the season. Probably is the number one, but I feel like it's a complete waste of time to have a player on 200 grand a week like Dean Henderson and not, pursue him and kind of give him chances if he is going to be the future.
But you've also got David De Gea on 350 grand a week, and you're spending 550 grand on two goalkeepers. It's very interesting. But there's apparently talks that they're going to be looking at extending De Gea's contract, and apparently he's keen on it, according to Romano. So it's interesting how that could move on, and God knows what. But Kenny, if you're playing something, I can hear it.
What?
So
I'm not playing anything.
Yeah, I'm sure. But anyway, goalkeeper. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, I've famously said in the past about this debate about Dean Henderson, and yeah, I do completely agree with everyone. I think Dean Henderson should be definitely given a fair crack at the whip next season, especially since this season he's literally been given what West Ham EFL Cup is literally the only game I can think about that he's been played. I think De Gea's played the FA Cup games, which is strange.
Who's got that women's voice?
That's why I started laughing and had to turn my camera off.
1 minute.
Oh.
Can we still hear it? Kenny, it's coming from you.
Wait, hold on.
What is going on?
That's why I started laughing. I didn't want it to
I
seem
could-
like I was laughing at either of you.
I could hear it, and I'm like, is someone like, Kenny, have you got Pornhub or something open? Which, if that's the case, that's disgusting, Kenny. Sure as shit. I think we can confirm that.
I don't
Luke
think
Short
he's
is so lazy, mate. He kept Jay Rodriguez and the Southampton guy on side. We'll talk about that. And Sue De Gea contract, sign a new contract. Henderson doesn't deserve a chance every time he plays. We go out of a cup competition. Oh, that is so stupid. You lost to West Ham because your whole team was shit, not just Henderson.
Right. By the way,
and
can I just mention
that's so
semi-final
not true.
versus Chelsea FA Cup? David De Gea.
I was just about to say, David De Gea
Europa
doesn't.
League final. David De Gea cost us, and not in the penalty shootout. He cost us the actual goal.
All I will say, well, and Luke Shaw, but all I will say is David De Gea doesn't really have the greatest of records in cup games as well. Because wasn't it Romero in your Europa League under Jose? Yeah, not even David. So, and who was in goal for the FA Cup? Was that Romero as well? Under Jose.
Oh yeah, under Jose, yeah.
Mm.
And then under Louis van Gaal, that would have been was that
it Romero too?
Well, that might have been Romero actually.
Oh, was it Valdez as well?
Yeah, it could have been Valdez. Oh, yeah, and that's what I mean. So, there's been a lot of chances. Well, every cup United have won. David hasn't really been in the final, so yeah. De Gea will save Man U man this season. Yeah, we're not saying he hasn't. But United also, just because he's doing well, does that not mean that a club or fans should be striving for better? Like you should always want the best you can, and if De Gea isn't quite the right fit for a certain style of football, then it's one of them. People told me after Europa League final, Henderson was a good penalty saver. Well, penalties are lucky anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, it's potluck.
De Gea didn't cost us that final, Ollie, and Shaw the forward. Henderson is a poor shot stopped. You will concede more with him. But would he also stop some of the goals or some of the chances? Look, it's an interesting debate. It really is an interesting debate, but we could sit here and debate it all year, and I'm pretty sure we still wouldn't get a consensus of who the United number one should be. And I don't envy the new manager when he has to pick who is going to be his number one, because if he picks Henderson, you're going to have a lot of people go, yeah, but what about De Gea? And then if you pick De Gea, you're going to have Henderson fans going, what about De Gea? And so it's more of a 50-50 split if you look on social media as well. So it really is an interesting one. But the next one I want to talk about is left backs, because Ralph Ragnick has already spoken apparently to Brandon Williams and said that he's not going to sell him or loan him out again next season. He has a future at Manchester United. Now, I've followed Brandon Williams' career path pretty much since he broke in, because I don't think anyone realistically thought Brandon Williams would really break through at United. It was really because of Shaw and the injuries, and Ollie going, I haven't really got any other options, so here you go, have a go, Brandon. And I've looked at a lot of games. I've watched him a lot. He's a left back that I like, but that's because I love pure shithousery. It's one of my favourite things in life. If you do shithousery, I'll probably give you a contract if I'm a manager. But Brandon Williams, he's one that, again, also divides opinion. But I think the one thing that we can probably accuse this United side of this season is not giving a shit or not caring enough. Well, Brandon Williams is going to prevent all of that at left back anyway, because he's definitely one that gives a shit, and he puts his all into it as well. And a lot of people don't like McTominay because they're so-called passion merchants, but so was Gary Neville. Now, I'm not saying Gary Neville was just a pure passion merchant, but he was very passionate, Scholesy.
Absolutely nothing wrong with being passionate. It's a term made up by certain journalists and certain people.
I like to call them. I like to call them fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Because they are fucking idiots. But Brandon Williams, left back. Do you think that maybe one of your left backs might be going in the summer? If so, which one? Because I can't see both of them still being there next season. I think one of them will go, and I think Brandon will probably either play understudy or probably bench the other one. Because to be honest, I've not been impressed with neither of them. To be honest, I've not really been overly impressed with Luke Shaw. And when Alex Telles has done all right, but I still, when I watch Alex, I'm like, there's something missing. Not whereas with Dallo, I can sort of see it and I can see the improvements and all of that. With Telles, I just don't really get it. He was meant to be one of the best free kick takers probably we've seen. I've not seen that materialise. He's meant to be really good at crossing the ball. I've not seen that either. I've been really disappointed with Telles when given the opportunities under Ralph, because I think it's fair to say Ollie didn't really give him too many opportunities, but there's something missing at your team, and I do think it's a bit of passion. I think it's a bit of giving a fuck, and I think Brandon produces that. And I also think that I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka will probably go, and I can imagine Ethan Laird maybe coming in along with James Garner. And I think this is the right way for United to go, which is embed the youth in. We've seen it with Arsenal and it's working to a degree. You bed in the youth, you bring through some players. I'm not even going to say quality. I'm not even going to say, high profile players. I'm going to say players that fit a system and then build on that. But we'll talk more about left backs before we talk about like Garner and Laird. Cian, Brandon Williams, do you want to see him back at United next season and fighting either Telles or Shaw? And if so, which one should go? Because I don't think it's right to have three left backs.
I definitely want to see more Brandon Williams. Currently, like right now, trying to make my mind up about either Shaw or Telles, which one's going to go, because
it's a tough one, isn't it?
It is, because I do actually like Shaw, but like his positional sense is terrible. He looks like he just doesn't really give a shit. He's not really progressing much. Like he's of that age where he's not going to progress even more. And a similar situation with Telles. I'm not going to say he doesn't care, because we haven't seen enough of him to say whether he cares or not. But I don't think he's as good as Brandon Williams. And I would actually start Brandon Williams next season as our starting left back. I've not got nothing against either two left backs, but I do prefer Brandon Williams.
Brandon gives you something a little different to all of the other left backs probably in the league, which is he's right-footed. And as long as you can get someone on the left-hand side who knows how to play with a right-footed left back, he can be quite useful in maybe playing an intricate pass inside towards maybe a Bruno or maybe a Ronaldo, or do something a little different. If you can get someone who's left-footed on that left wing, that would be amazing, because then you've still got that person who can cross. And this whole Brandon Williams can't use his left foot, that is a complete and utter myth. I've seen him use it plenty of times. He may not be Andrew Robertson left-footed, but he's not got a bad left foot on him. He does know how to use it. He's not a complete and utter imbecile. He's just one that I really do rate. But Ciaran, Brandon Williams, passion at United is lacking severely, I would say, at the moment. It wouldn't harm bringing in a Brandon Williams to not even upset the apple cart, although he probably would tell Maguire to piss off. If Rashford can do it, and he seems one of the most politest guys in the world. But I've seen Brandon Williams on a football pitch. I don't think polite is how I would describe him. But what do you want to see doing?
Brandon Williams is an interesting one for me, because I feel like he's gone under the radar a little bit in terms of United loanees. I think when he first kind of went to Norwich, or he was kind of announced he was going to go to Norwich on loan, I thought it was a really positive move. I thought finally he's going to get consistent game time. And I think he's done pretty well there, to be fair. I don't think that he's up for any. I wouldn't put him up for any player awards, but I think he has done fairly well, and I think
he may win Norwich's Player of the Season. I don't know if he will, but he may, because he's become a real fan favourite down there. They're already singing his song. They were playing against City, and the City lot are already giving him a bit of abuse. He's a mank from United, but the Norwich fans, they chant his name. He's definitely liked down Norwich. So you know, he could win player of the, and he's had a very good season for Norwich under Dean Smith. Maybe not so much under whatever his name was, the other dude, but he's under Dean Smith. He's had a very good season. He's doing very, very well. I think Ginaloas has been benched permanently by Brandon, and Dean Smith seems to really like the lad. So he could win player of the season for Norwich. But I wouldn't rule it out just yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't even it's gone under the radar for most people. I haven't really, watched him, that much. I think, what I've watched, obviously, and what I've heard, obviously, from you there. I mean, he's seemed to have a pretty good season. And the main thing in terms of United point of view is, as you said, coming back and he's being in the conversation as an option. Whether he starts or not is obviously up to the new manager and his style of play. But even just having him there as like a kind of warning to Shaw and Teller, saying, this guy's come in and he's pretty decent and he's up right up your backside, mate. Just putting pressure on them. So it's kind of similar to the Wan-Bissaka situation when, that was a Shaw one, wasn't it? When Tellers came in and he put pressure on Shaw to perform. But I think Brandon Williams coming back in, obviously, I don't like using the phrase like United DNA, but I guess you would say that he has that passion and he wants to be a Manchester United player. Obviously, he came through the youth ranks at the club. He'll have that desire to do well, and maybe other players that have come from different clubs who might not understand it as well, let's say, could learn a few things from him. But at the same time, I don't know whether he gets straight into the starting 11, but I think he would definitely apply a lot of pressure to Shaw Tellers.
Well, no one should be guaranteed a starting 11 spot anyway. You should always have to fight for your spot. And you mentioned an interesting point that I actually wanted to delve in. When did saying United DNA become a dirty word? Because for me, United are a very, very, very strange but very interesting club in terms of it's always been based around United DNA. Not so much with managers. With managers, it has tended to be someone from the outside coming in, but also understanding the club and then really going with that philosophy. Fergie came from Scotland, but he understood exactly what it took, to win, but he also understood what United was about. He understood the Busby Babes. He understood Sir Matt Busby and what United was about. When the hell did saying that someone was United DNA or they've got, that passion become such a dirty word? Because I don't get it. Because United, it's always been about producing your own youth. I'm not saying that every year you're going to have the class of 92 come onto your doorstep, because that was a complete and utter freak of nature. But bedding in your own youth players has never become it's social media. I'm pretty sure I could probably pin it all to social media, to be honest. But is there really a problem with bedding in your own youngsters who understand what it takes to play for Manchester United? I'm always wanting to see youngsters come through a youth system at Argyle and play for Argyle, because ultimately, I'm not saying that the players who who didn't come through a youth system don't know or don't care, but it's always nice seeing your own young.
Isn't that part of what English football is about in general? From the grassroots
I just thought it was what football was intended for.
Exactly. Especially English football. We've built from the grassroots right the way up. And the English football pyramid is built for generally young people, although it's a low percentage of young people that make it. 0.012% is the exact statistic. It's built for people to come through. Like, if I wanted to go and join a football team now, although I'm not very good at playing football, I could go and join a football team and hope to go up the ranks. That is what football's about. Certain people.
Well, look at all of
it a little bit.
Look at all the top three teams. Liverpool, Trent, Curtis Jones, straight away, that I can think of. City, Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, Liam Delap. They got that. Bloody well, I had him on fucking FM. Oh, I can't remember his name. Tommy Doyle. And then, Chelsea, Mason Mount, Trevor Chalobah. Reece James. These types of players. So every top team requires you to have these players. Now, I'm not saying Brandon Williams is suddenly going to make United this title-winning team, or I'm not even going to say Brandon Williams is currently your best. Well, in current form, he probably is your best left back. But I'm not going to say he's your best left back. But what I will say, it's completely normal to bed in your own youth players who understand, what it takes to play for United, and also have a bit of passion and a bit of desire, because you mix that in with, because that helps the other players coming in. You think about Salah. Jordan Henderson's a weird one because he sort of embodied Liverpool Football Club, but I bet Trent and I bet Curtis Jones, I bet these types of players are sitting in the changing room before the start of a game going, lads, if we lose to Everton, these fans are going to fucking kill us. They're going to go mad. Going to go ape shit bucket. They're going to go fucking ape shit crazy, right?
But you also want say if Liverpool lose to Everton, you also want, if you're a Liverpool fan, you want Trent Alexander-Arnold, you want Curtis Jones to be upset, like as they are fans themselves. They are one of us, just like Gary Neville is a fan of United, and when he played, you want the players to be upset. And there's too many players in our team currently that aren't that upset when we lose, that don't really care. And Brandon Williams is one that does care. And should be in the team, in my opinion, for one of those reasons. Yeah,
nice. It's an interesting one. Prime says, just tuning in, no RJ, but Kenny is here. Kenny might make me dislike, not gonna lie. It's an interesting one. United need to stop this drama like Hollyoaks and play footy. Kenny, why didn't you clean your bedroom before being on stream? At least clean the part that's going to be on the camera.
Nah, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, that's why I've put myself into a corner and you can't see the floor. Not convinced with Williams. He needs more time on loan. Mustafa, I'm gonna ask you something. How many times have you watched Norwich? And we'll compare that with how many times I've watched Norwich this season, and we'll then see which one of us should probably be the better judgment of character on that one. FYI, I think I've got 10 Norwich games that I've watched this season already, and I'm probably going to watch a lot more towards the end of the season as well. And they're at Anfield this weekend, so I'm going to watch that as well. Just an interesting one. You might have watched every game, you never know. Also, big up to John, who says good evening. But Kenny, also Ciaran, you didn't mention which left back you'd get rid of. You can't have three.
Oh, good point. Who would I get rid of? It's difficult because obviously it's about whether the new manager comes in and who's going to fit that style, and we obviously don't know that yet. But I think it's a very difficult one. I'd probably get rid of Tellez.
Yeah,
just get rid of Tellez, I think.
Yeah, that's not fair.
It's a difficult one.
Yeah, it is. He's not good enough, and that doesn't answer any of the question I asked you. How many times have you watched Norwich play this season? Just out of curiosity, because I've watched them at least 10 times, and I would say in about 8 of them, Brandon had a very good game. That's all I'm saying. He's had a couple of bad games. I don't think against Arsenal was his best game. I'm pretty sure there was another one. I can also pinpoint a couple of games where he was probably one of their best players. Newcastle probably being one of them. Man City is very good against Man City too, but he's still not good. No, so, I'm sorry, but no. You can't make a judgment on 2 games. Like, no. All I will say is watch it more consistently and watch 90 minutes. Watch 90 minutes of the games, because match of the day ain't going to give you what you need, right? Watch the 90 minutes. You'll see it. I don't know how you're saying that, but based on 2 games as well, that's ridiculous. You can't make a judgment. You can't make a judgment on 2 games. I've watched them for 10, and I can only think of 2 games where he's actually had a howler. I wouldn't even say they were a howler. He was just up against a really good Saka, who was in really good form at the time. And the other game, I can't remember it, but I've watched it at least 10 times, and he's impressed me enough in at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 of those occasions. But he's not a bad lad to even have with your squad. I mean, you can't tell me that Tellez or Shaw have been astronomically better than him this season, because if you do, you're chatting shit. But Kenny, left back situation, Brandon Williams. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I really like Brandon Williams. I think he is a good player. I think he's been good for Norwich, especially since he's young as well. He's got the United DNA about him. And I think you've literally said everything in the past and on the stream that really I would say about Brandon Williams.
Yeah.
And the left back I would get rid of for Brandon Williams is, I think Luke Shaw. You save a lot of like money on like dessert. You know what I mean, like the dessert bills.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's why I would get rid of him.
Also, you couldn't have an all English left back in your squad. Jesus, the people who don't like the English lot would have a fucking fit.
Start for watching this.
Goldbridge. I'm sorry. What? Not hard.
I find it so weird that like you're from England and how you're not.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Not sure.
I read a thread about it.
So Brandon Williams is doing better than Sean Tellers, yet you don't want him to come into a. Your logic is absolutely flawed on almost every level there. May I ask you what you mean by he's not good enough? Good enough for what exactly? I'm curious. I'm equally as curious, but I'm also curious on how you can make that judgment after 2 games. Because what 2 games did you watch? That also takes a part. I mean, were Norwich playing well that day? Was it under the new manager? Was it under Dean Smith, or was it under the previous manager? Who's that shit? I've forgotten his name already. Like, these are some of the questions that need answering, and until they're answered, I don't think I can take that one quite seriously. But I do want to talk briefly, just quickly, about the other youngsters out on loan. James Garner, Ethan Laird. We're not going to talk about Galbraith because I've not been impressed with Galbraith whilst he's played against Argyle twice. Not really been that in Daniel Farker, that's the one. I've not really been impressed with what's his name that I just said? Galbraith, that's the one. I've not really been impressed, but I have been impressed with Garner. I've watched him a fair few times as well, a couple of FA Cup games and a couple of Championship games. He's also very liked at Nottingham Forest. I haven't seen Ethan Laird at all, really, apart from 1 game for MK. And I'm not basing my judgment off 1 game at MK. But Cian, Garner and Laird, what do you want both of them to come in, or are you thinking maybe Garner comes in, Laird goes back on loan to a Premier League club? Like where do you want maybe Laird to do what Brandon Williams has done this season, which is go to a sort of lower Premier League club and see how he does there before you make any rush judgments of character?
I think that we made a mistake not buying Trippier because I think he would have been the perfect stopgap for Laird. Yeah. However, I would bring Laird and personally sell Bissaka. And with Garner, I would definitely buy Declan Rice and have Garner as backup. You can't start him. You can't just throw him in. We didn't do that with Gary Neville, with Paul Scholes, with Nicky Butt, with David Beckham, etc., etc. You can't just throw him in. So have him as a backup to Declan Rice, who is a leader and should be our captain if we buy him.
Who, Garner?
Yeah.
And then Laird, you keeping him and back up to Dallo?
Yeah, back up to Dallo. Yeah. If it was my choice, he'd be back up to Tariq Lamptey.
Well, yeah, or Lamptey, obviously. We don't know what's going to happen, but we do know that they are going to get a central defensive midfielder. But look, we could talk about that, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of shows before the start of the summer to talk about defensive midfielders, because I can think of a few. Also, Donny seems to be doing quite well at Everton, so there's another midfielder to come back in the summer as well, all dependent on, well, actually it doesn't really depend on who your manager is, because both Poch and Ten Hag love Donny, so as long as you get one of them two, he'll probably fit in quite well. And I can't imagine Graham Potter is going to dislike Donny van der Beek, because all 3 of them like footballers, and well, Donny is a footballer. I'm not sure what Fred is, but I wanna actually, he's nothing special other than driving on the ball. He's average at everything else. He's very good at one-on-ones. He's quite dominant in the air. Not afraid to put a tackle in, but yeah, he's average there. Let's agree that he's average. Sure, AWB, Dallo and Tellez are also average. I'm sure at least half of those 4 are on high wages. What's Williams on? Williams is on 60 grand a week at United. Not even 100k. So You could save a wage budget, which I think is all, and also it's been accused that players don't do it because they've got money or social media. Brandon Williams, yeah, he likes his social media posts on there, but I can't imagine he's going to be like, I have to defend myself on social media. I think he'll probably do his talking with his 2 feet, so yeah. But Prime makes a very good point though, that all 4 of those wing backs are going to be on high wages, and Brandon's on 60 grand a week. Well, what's Shaw on? What's AWB on? What's Dallo on? Well, Dallo might not be on high wages, but it'll be interesting if we could find out how much is Shaw and Tellez's wages, and we'll compare that to what Williams is on, and we'll because that is needed. Also, Brandon could also cover on the right hand side, which I think is also quite helpful if needed, because if you get an injury, let's say, and I hope this never happens because you never want anyone to break their leg, but imagine, September the 4th, Diego Dallo's playing for Manchester United, breaks his leg. You're like, fuck. The transfer window's shut. We've only got Laird. Well, you got Williams who can cover there as well. So it's not a terrible idea to bring someone who can play with his right foot on the left side. It makes a lot of sense in all of that. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're really not getting it. 60k for a player that's average as the other 4. It's much cheaper wage-wise unless there are other options. No, I don't think there are other. I think there is a limited amount of left-backs in the world that United could probably go and get, if I'm being honest. There's always been an issue. You look back in the days, I mean, there's not many good left-backs because there's not too many good naturally left-sided players. I can't think of too many. I mean, and the ones I can think of would never join United, mainly because one's Andrew Robertson and the other one is fucking Cancelo. Why are neither of them going to join Manchester United? Well, you don't really need to be given a full reason on both of that, don't they? United move hella stinky when they're on TV. I need to bust out the Febreze. But I want to talk about the captaincy because what a way to end the show, eh? Talking about the captaincy. The Daily Mirror, and I think it's only fair that we mention the publication that all of this came from, has said that there are currently some issues between Cristiano Ronaldo and Harry Maguire fighting for the captaincy. We also know there's been many leaks. It was only suggested, that Maguire was the leak. Again, suggested. There is no definite proof. Gary Neville has said that he knows who is the leak. Interesting. That he doesn't reveal that leak. If all I'm going to say is, if Neville loved United as much as Neville loves United, nah. I'm going to say it. If Neville loved United as much as he claims he does, if that was me, I'm out in him.
He's given the player an opportunity, or the person, because it's reportedly not actually a player or even a senior member of staff, the opportunity to just shut up.
Or that. But if it does continue, then if I'm Neville, I'm exposing that wanker for everything that it's worth. But captaincy, let's talk about it. It's not... Ragnick's made himself this sort of situation. If he was unhappy at the start, he should have come out and said, look, done. I'm going to give Ronaldo the captaincy because he first joined. But we were talking about this, I can't remember if it was on stream or backstage, we've spoken about so much, but should really leave the captaincy with one person until the new manager comes in, because Ralph ain't going to be that problem. So, Cian, what do you do? Maguire is currently club captain. Apparently there's this issue. Maguire feels undermined. He feels the young players don't listen to him or respect him. You've got all of these issues. Now, if half of that is true, I'd strip him of it anyway, because that mentality is weak as fuck. And I do not want my captain to have a mentality of a 2-year-old toddler, which, if any of that is true, I'm undermined. No one listens. They don't respect me. Earn that respect. Whack them in training. I don't know. Ask Roy Keane what he did. Do similar. How do you command respect? Do your job. That's probably number one. How did Roy Keane command respect from a dressing room? He sent someone 10 feet in the air and everyone watched him do it. So, like, you know, how did Ferdinand do it? He was a bloody Rolls Royce centre back. How did Neville do it? He would smack you if you didn't listen to him. And all of this is because Fergie ultimately would go, that's my captain. And no one would dare argue with Fergie because you'd get a boot in the face. Ask David Beckham. But, Cian, what are you doing?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. With the reports that we're speaking about, we know how it's been basically what I would call unbearable this week with reports about United. It's been non-stop every hour, and I've spoken about it on my channel quite in depth, and I'll just say it briefly here. I don't believe that 99% of the reports are actually true. However, if they are, I still wouldn't change captain mid-season. We've seen Arsenal do it, and they had to do it because Aubameyang broke club protocol. And I know that leaking is so-called club protocol. However, we have no proof of who that is, so we can't say it's Harry Maguire, for example. So I would keep it with Maguire. And if people are saying give it to Ronaldo, still wouldn't, because he's, at the end of the day, he's a 37-year-old man. He's not going to be here much longer. He's 13 years off 50 years old. Do you know what I'm saying? He's 13 years off being middle-aged. I would not give him the captaincy at all. If anyone, if I was going to give the captaincy to anyone next season, I'd give it to Raphael Varane. Absolute Rolls Royce of a leader and a defender. Absolute amazing player.
I would probably give it, and Mustafa's going to go fucking ape shit. I would give it McTominay.
Yes!
He embodies
Man United future captain, the fans' captain.
He embodies almost everything that you want from a captain. But let's just cut through some of the crap that Mustafa's been talking about, because I do want to address this. When fit, who's United's best centre-back partnership? Varane, Lindelof.
Maguire and Varane for me.
Bullshit. It's Varane, Lindelof, and you know it. The only reason everyone's forgetting Lindelof is because Harry Maguire had a great game against West Ham, and Lindelof had to go back home because
Harry Maguire was great last season, and
but Lindelof and Varane seems the most natural partnership of the two as well.
Oh yeah,
they seem to complement each other quite nicely. So Prime says, I agree that Brandon Williams isn't better. I would disagree. However, wage-wise, he's much cheaper. Plus, Brandon Williams is the very least of United's problems. That's very true. Yeah. Kenny, do you know Salah is clear of your whole squad? Probably. But now I'm saying he should start. I never said should. I think you've misinterpreted exactly what I'm saying. I said he should be part of the team and should be a left back, and on current form should be starting, because I've seen nothing of Luke Shaw. I've seen nothing of Alex Telles, but I've seen a fair bit of Brandon Williams. So, you know, and Brandon Williams is your most informed. Now, whether that be at United or not, that he means he probably would start. He should be a part of your team. And that's what I'm saying. Big up to Ibrahim as well. Prime says, should he be starting? No, however, none of your fullbacks should be starting, so having him in the squad isn't much harm unless you upgrade on them all in the summer, which we probably think won't happen. And also, there aren't many good left backs. Name me them. Name me 2 left backs you can go get in the summer, plus the DM, plus a young striker, plus a winger. No, but I'm just adding. So you need a DM. That's very clear that you need that in the summer. You're going to need a younger striker because Cavani's going and Greenwood's currently, you know, well, shall we say, chilling at home, under investigation. You need a winger because you've got Sancho, Rashford and Elanga. You've got a right back that you're going to need to get as well. Plus, you're probably going to need a central midfielder to replace Pogba. Because you'll have Donny coming in, but do you really want to be using Fred? Because you've moaned about Fred more times than I care to imagine. So that's 5. You probably also want a new centre back before you start looking at your full backs, because apparently, according to you, Maguire's not good enough.
I've never said that. I think he's
No,
good enough.
I'm on about Mustafa. I'm on about
Oh, right,
Mustafa.
right.
So that's 6. You're also not a fan of Henderson, so you're probably going to want another goalkeeper. So that's 7. Have I finished? Oh, you
Yeah,
hate
full
McTominay. You hate McTominay, so you're probably going to want an upgrade on McTominay. So there's another defensive midfielder you're going to need for when you sell McTominay, apparently. So that's 8. And you're telling me that you're going to then go get yourself a left back and a right back. Behave yourself. I don't care what anyone says. If 39 becomes captain, I hope we get relegated. Madness. They won't both be gone in the summer, and they won't both be gone in the summer because I've just explained why they won't. You're going to get a DM. You're going to get a striker. You're going to need to get. You've got so much you need to do. Okay, then that means United will buy a left back to upgrade. I doubt it. Theo Hernandez just signed a new contract. Isak, yeah, maybe.
Overrated, in my opinion.
Maybe you could get Isak in Kamara. Yeah, you could get Kamara, but this is the Glazers, so you'll get Declan Rice. Big up Niall and the panel. Great show. Thank you. It's time we talk about 10. We'll talk about him another time. Goalkeeper No Heaton as backup. I trust Lindelof. Okay. But you still go want 7 or 8 players. How many do you think the Glazers are buying you in the summer? I think 4, maybe 5 at the most. That's at a push. And that's if you don't get Champions League. If you get Champions League, you'll get 3. If you're lucky. But, Ciaran, captaincy. What's your thoughts on this whole battle royale of captaincy? They've narrowed it down. I think they've chucked the others over the top rope. They've all fallen to the floor. It's only Maguire and Ronaldo in the ring at the moment. Ragnick is currently stood by the bell, waiting to press it. So, what do you do?
I think as kind of has been mentioned, really, like this is more of a thing that should have been dealt with at the start of the season. Really, I think especially with an interim manager, I don't think we should really make any sort of like big decisions because there's no point in it. I mean, the only way you would really have justification to make a big decision like that is if there was some like really bad conduct. For example, if a captain did that was was made their position as captain untenable, then you can drop them. But it's one of those things where at this moment in time we don't know who the new manager is going to be, and if we did know who the new manager was going to be, then obviously Ranić could be in contact with them and they could kind of give them some guidance as to who they would want as captain, and then they can kind of slowly get the new captain into the used to the role. But unfortunately we don't have any of that information right now, so it's difficult really to do it during the season. Obviously Maguire wouldn't be my ideal candidate as captain, and I don't think many United fans would say that Maguire would be their ideal captain, especially at this point. But at the same time, I think Ronaldo as captain, obviously he's been captain for Portugal, and whether that's a little bit to do with the fact he's the best player on the team, but he has got a lot of leadership quality. We've seen that before, obviously the penalty shootout, that famous video of him kind of like, even though he's injured, or no, even though he's actually wasn't injured, but he was kind of helping out the players sort of like, before the final as well. He does have those leadership qualities, there's no doubt about it. But it's a difficult one for me. Again, obviously it doesn't help. I think someone in the comments mentioned EastEnders. I think that pretty well sums it up, to be honest. I think realistically it's a frustrating thing to be coming out now, especially when we're kind of going for top 4. That's the last thing you need, is instability with the captaincy. But I don't see Rangnick changing it at all. I don't see him making any changes. I think Maguire will be captain at the end of the season. And if Ronaldo, I guess, doesn't like that, then I guess he's going to have to live with it. I don't really see... I mean, obviously he's a very powerful player because, he is Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, I mean, he's obviously always going to have power in the dressing room. So it's going to be difficult if obviously all the rumours are true that they're kind of falling out and stuff, because you don't want your captain and your most influential player in the dressing room falling out. It's kind of one of the worst things to happen. So I would probably... Even though I wouldn't say Maguire's my favourite candidate for captaincy, I just don't think you can make big decisions without knowing what the future holds. So it's a difficult one, but I think I wouldn't be too annoyed if Maguire was to stay captain, because I just don't see... I don't see the point making a big kind of statement decision when Rangnick's only the interim. But at the same time, if we were to change the captain, again, I wouldn't be opposed to that either. So I know I'm sitting on the fence a little bit here, but it's difficult really. Maybe you could kind of rotate the captaincy. Maybe you could do that, but it's a difficult one.
Well, like you get it for 30 minutes and then he can have it like you would with two little kids. If I was Rangnick, I'd just tell Ronaldo, sit down, son. I make the shots here, mate. Not you. You're one of my players. I've decided Maguire stays captain till the end of the season. New manager picks. Sit down, do your job, do what you're paid. Wonderful. Oh, by the way, can we talk about your goal scoring record at the moment? It's been fucking abysmal. So before you talk about wanting the captaincy, can we talk about you scoring some goals, please? Thank you. Like everyone calls it a graveyard shift. I've seen him have chances. So if I'm Rangnick, I'm like, look, neither of you two are really in form at the moment. So both of you shut your fucking mouths and get on with your jobs. Because in a minute, neither of you are going to be captain because neither of you are going to be on the pitch. Like I would literally, if I was Rangnick, I'm going in there. I'm sitting everyone down, going, all of you need to shut up now. No one talk a single word. I'll go Neil Warnock on them. They clearly need a bit of Neil Warnock in their life, that's for sure. Prime says Grimaldo, Benfica is Carl, best left back in Liga NOS. United brought Telles, Cucurella Brighton, Borna Sosa Stuttgart, 45 mil max. Right, so let's list priorities. DM, striker, winger. You're lacking all areas. And just because of the Greenwood situation, and look, I accept for United that the Greenwood situation wasn't of their making. It's been sort of thrusted upon them and all of those sorts of issues. You still need to get 3 of those players. So you're going to need to get a DM. That's going to cost you 50 plus million, right? So that's 50 million. You're going to need a striker. That'll probably cost you in around the same price, if not maybe 60, because you're looking for a young striker to take over from Ronaldo for when he leaves. You're also going to need at least probably another midfielder and a winger. So you're going to need 4 players before you even think about suggesting that your left backs are the problem. Because if I'm looking at your wing backs, I'm looking at Bissaka going, you're a big problem for me. I need you to leave. And then I use that money to go get a Lamptey or Max Aarons or whoever, a right back. I'm just throwing names. I'm not suggesting go get either of them, just a right back. You may need to do that. I think your right side, much more of an issue than your left side. And you could play short, not in the greatest form at the moment. You've got Brandon Williams. You've got Telles. You've got 3 players who can do it. So that's all I'm going to say. Grimaldo is cold and Iniesta was fuming when Barca let him go. Grimaldo is a BTEC LS, oh Lord. Do you watch Grimaldo consistently? If no, then keep it zipped. I'm not a stat merchant. Telles was killing it in Portugal, went to England being bang average. Grimaldo was better than Telles in Liga NOS and is still better. Big up to Russ, who sent in a super chat that says, big up now. Big up, Russ. I hope you're well as well, and thank you for your super chat. Sorry, but Maguire needs to be binned. You can't. But that will add that to your list. So why are you arguing about putting in a left back who isn't that bad, who could come in and do her job? Like, genuinely, your logic is, what do you think this is? FIFA?
This is what I have to deal with.
And doesn't perform, then the same. What are you going to say? The same way Telles hasn't performed at all. Okay, then. But yeah, look, I'm not backing Maguire. I'm also saying that for Rangnick, it's not Rangnick's job to really dispossess Maguire of the captaincy, because what's that going to do to Maguire? Well, it's going to really piss him off to start with. And you got to think, who's mates with Maguire? Do you want the divide to become even bigger? You might as well build a wall in the middle of your changing room and go, the Maguire lot get on that side, the Ronaldo lot get on that side. You've got separate doors and you've got separate rooms, and we'll give you 2 separate team talks. As you strip Maguire of that captaincy, it's going to be World War III within your dressing room, if it ain't already. So Rangnick's doing the right thing, in my opinion, which is basically going, yeah, Maguire's my captain. Get me out of here. I want to go upstairs. I've had enough with this lot. I'm throwing shapes when I come up there, by the way. Get me a meeting with the Glazers. First thing, fuck it. last game of the season, I want to meet him with them instantly because Ragnik's going to throw shapes, all sorts of shapes. It could be an interesting summer for United because think of the players you're losing as well: Lingard, Pogba, Cavani. That's just 3. Matic, Mata, Phil Jones. I mean, the list is not looking good to start with, and that, along with the others that might leave as well, it's a very, very, very interesting time, isn't it? Very interesting time. Never wanted to tell us day one. I wasn't convinced about him. You've not said that to me, but okay. Lamptey, Neves, Anthony, or Rafinha. What for right back? You want to play Rafinha? I would love you to play Rafinha right back. That is a car crash waiting to happen. Rafinha, what, as in the Leeds Rafinha at right back? What are you trying to do? Adopt the Trent Alexander approach, but this time with no defensive I mean, that Matic not going, but I bet he is. He's in showdown.
I think he'll stay to do his coaching badges.
Well, okay, but he's not really a player then, is he?
No, like I think Lee Grant is doing exactly the same thing. I think that's what they'll be doing.
That's fine, but that's basically them on work experience, and they're not playing anymore. Like,
no class as a player.
Neves isn't a DM. He's a as in buy Rafinha. Oh right, buy Rafinha. Okay, let's get that one. Thought you meant play Rafinha right back. I was just about to say, right, Lamptey, yes. Neves, yeah, okay. Rafinha. So let's just assume it's around 50 million on all of them, right? As in on each of them. So Lamptey 50, Neves 50, Rafinha 50, because we don't really know. That's 150 million.
And Anthony as well.
No, Anthony or Rafinha. So that's 150. Yeah, how many bought a striker? Like, that's what I mean. So,
we ain't getting 150 million, are we?
Well, that I'm just about what world is Mustafa living in? The world where the Glazers invest heavily into Manchester United. If that's the case, I'm not sure I've ever seen that world. Like, I don't get it. 150 million on a right back, a DM, and a right winger, but no strikers. What are you gonna do if Ronaldo gets injured? Like, what? Bring in Charlie McNeil? Not a bad shout, but he ain't.
I don't mind Charlie McNeil.
Well, yeah, but he's not quite Premier League ready, is he? Like,
probably not, no.
150 million in one transfer window. That's a madness. That's a madness. Brandon Williams is also defensively solid, but apparently he's not good enough, so no. That's brilliant. Before you call me crazy, a front three of Sancho, Martial, Anthony were cooking. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. That's fine. So you're bringing Martial back. Right, cool. What if the new manager doesn't want Martial? What if the new manager believes Anthony Martial's best position is off the left wing, which is actually where I believe his best position is in the Premier League? I don't think he's good enough as a striker. Not the way United want to play either. Not with the way United want to play either. So 150 million, I think you're massively overstating what the Glazers spend on United. Like, massively. Like, huge. I know you got close with the whole Ronaldo stuff and this summer, but Ronaldo basically paid off his transfer fee within the first day's shirt sales. So, I just think 150 is absurd. If you think you're getting 150, oh Lord. Most players directly from the Eredivisie struggle, so Anthony is a poor choice. But a number 6 job is to protect the back four. I agree. Matic can't play 90 minutes. Oh, you want to? I don't even know what's going on. Neves isn't a DM. I would accept Neves because deep line playmaker was sort of similar to what Michael Carrick was. So I would accept. That because I also think that's sort of the DM that United need. I think you need someone who can You need a deep line playmaker as your 6 because you haven't got a playmaker. Whether that be when Pogba goes, you know, if you don't have Pogba, all of that, you do need. I think you need a deep line playmaker, someone who can ping a long ball, someone who can start play. I think you do need one. So I would accept Neves as a deep line playmaker in a 6 for United. I don't think it'd be catastrophically bad as long as you had a workman like, you know, box to box McTominay. Is all I'll say there. I think a midfield 3 of, let's just say, Neves, McTominay, Van der Beek. Who says no?
I don't.
And then I would probably, if you don't want to buy a striker, I'll probably put Bruno in a false 9.
I'm not sure that currently Bruno Fernandes fits our best 11.
Well, that's a debate for another day, but you know, it's an interesting
My
one.
mind will be changed. I know it will. I know he's going to help us win the Champions League, as I've been saying.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
It's coming.
one.
The
Harry
Champions
Maguire
League.
bullet header in the Champions League final.
From a corner as well, when we haven't scored from one all season.
Madness. But I think we're going to wrap it up there. I think we've had. That's actually been one of my favourite United shows. If I'm being honest, I thoroughly enjoyed that. We spoke about a lot. Mustafa was keeping me on my toes, and the rest of us on our toes as well, which is good. But yeah, we've had plenty to talk about. It's given me plenty of topics for what we're going to talk about next season as well. Not next season, next week. He won't play Maguire, Sean. Oh, fuck off. Oh, he will. Managers will play McTominay. Maybe not every game, but he will be
Every
a part
manager
of.
that's managed McTominay has rated him.
He might not play every game, but to be honest, I can't think of many players that should play every game because you know. Does Pep play De Bruyne in every game? Does he? You know, I know Klopp plays Salah in every game, but that's because if he doesn't, Salah's going to knock him out. So, you know, he's sort of forced to in that one. But, you know, rotation is key. And you could argue Liverpool have never had the players to rotate with. So we'd never know if Klopp actually wanted to rotate Salah a little bit more.
Mustafa does?
What?
You know what Mustafa does? Basically, he just says something, yeah? He just says a point, and he doesn't provide any evidence for it except fail compilation.
No, I'm not.
That's what he does.
I'm not about to slag off Mustafa because I like Mustafa. I get on with Mustafa, and I like debates. So Mustafa doing this is actually something that I enjoy doing because I enjoy having a debate and I enjoy giving my side of things. So you know, I'm not gonna slag off Mustafa, but
yeah, but still,
he won't. Not as a starter due to his style of play. Well, he may do as a box to box. Like. We've also never seen McTominay in a box-to-box, and the times we have seen him box-to-box, he's scored bloody blinders against Leeds.
But
it's an interesting one, and I'm sure you know, come the start of next season, it'll be a very interesting topic because we don't even know who the manager will be. I think you're going to have one of 3 managers. I'm pretty happy if I was told go chuck a 5 on 3 managers that will be the manager of Manchester United next year. I think I know. I think I'll be quite comfortable doing it. I think Ten Hag, Potter, or Potter. They're the 3 that I think you'll go for.
My top them 3 would be Ten Hag, Potter, and Poch.
Yeah, I can just it's Ten Hag. If you're smart, you get Ten Hag because he is the next best thing. He's that Klopp, isn't he? He's that one who's. You know, he's the next bit, or Nagelsmann, you know, but Nagelsmann's very happy at Bayern Munich and not really pulling up trees either, might I also say. So, you know, but Ten Hag is that next, he's that like, yes, let's get him. He's that next best thing, that raw talent, bring him in, invest in him. Poch, United have always wanted Poch. You know, it's been very difficult for him at PSG, but it's difficult for any manager. But also, just because he hasn't been successful at PSG doesn't mean that he's not a good manager, because look at Thomas Tuchel. That's all I'll say there. And Graham Potter, he understands the Premier League. He's a very, very exciting young coach who's got brilliant ideas and has done absolute wonders with this Brighton team. So they're the three that I think you'll go for. People are talking about Enrique. I can't see it happening. He's very happy at Spain, and he's got a World Cup to go to in the winter. Pardon me for trying to say summer, when the World Cup should be played. If anyone from FIFA is watching this, fuck you. It's one of them. Look, it'll be interesting. But I think one of them three, and they all sort of similar style, aren't they? They're all they play similar type of football, which is the right thing for United to do. And it's also a style of football that Rangnick is very experienced in. It should be really fucking helpful. I'm not even suggesting to United what to do, but making sure that your sporting director understands the idea of what the new manager is going to be doing might just help in player recruitment, or I don't know. I wonder if the director of football at Man City understands Pep's philosophy. Bet he does. I wonder if Liverpool's director of football understands what Klopp wants. Pretty sure he does. I wonder if John Myrtle understands what the United manager wants. Wrong question. But anyway, we are going to wrap it up there. We have got some watch-alongs over the weekend, so make sure you check out the channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure you turn on the bell notification so you don't miss when we go live or upload a video. F1 season isn't too far away. We had an absolute amazing season last season with Max Verstappen winning the World Drivers' Championship. So make sure you tune in for our coverage of the Formula One season when it starts. We're going to be ranking all the liveries when they all get released, which is the end of the month. So obviously, trickling through now. So we've got that. And then, pre-season testing. And then we're not far away from Bahrain, which is the first race, which I'm really excited about. So it should be an absolute corker there. But before you go, Cian, where can they find you, mate?
Football Obsession on YouTube, FTBL, OBS on Twitter. I'll be live at 2:45 p.m. tomorrow with the Crystal Palace versus Chelsea watch along on YouTube.
Perfect. Ciaran, where can they find you, mate?
Redder Weekly on YouTube and Twitter. But yeah, good to be back, mate. Good to be back. Glad to be back on the channel.
Loving it. And what about you, Kenny? Where can they find you and your very dodgy opinions about wheelie bins?
Oh, shut up, man. You can find me at Kenny10 on Twitter. You have to request the account. Kenny Talks Footy on YouTube. Kenny Fan on Twitch. And in Moscow when we reach the Champions League final. Come on, man.
We are winning the Champions League.
Is it in Moscow this year?
I believe so.
I thought it was
just like in 08.
Wasn't it in St. Petersburg this year? Pretty sure
it was in St. Petersburg. It's Russian cities, I think.
I'm pretty sure it's in St. Petersburg. It was meant to be St. Petersburg last year, but because of COVID, they had to put it in Porto, didn't they? Pretty sure, isn't it? Pretty sure it is St. Petersburg. They're also meant to have it in 2020.
It's two Russian cities. So
pretty sure they were meant to have it in 2020 as well, but I can't remember where that was played. Does anyone remember where Champions League?
It was at a neutral venue.
Yeah, that's what I know that because
in Portugal, I think.
Portugal, that's one because Europa League was in Germany, wasn't it? You're all in Germany, and they had to do it all over there. But that's at least my memory still works. At least there we go. That I wasn't expecting to be doing. Trying to work out where finals were played 2 years ago. But it was Portugal and Germany. But yeah, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. But until then, thanks for watching and peace out.